are running Rock Slide.
Rock Slide is probably one of the best moves in the game. I mean, it spreads its damage. It hits both Pokemon on the other side. Usually it gets the same type of attack bonus from Pokemon like Tyranitar.
Yep.
And that's going to be doing, it's Tyranitar's really best rock move option right now.
Yeah.
And, the chance to flinch.
The chance to flinch. We call it a chance, but is it really a chance? I mean, it's going to happen at some point or another.
100% of the time, it'll flinch against you.
100% of the time, Rock Slide will flinch at some point or another. But seriously, if you look at this, 95.6% of Tyranitar's run Rock Slide. Now, is Aaron's running Rock Slide?
It was running Rock Slide,
okay.
And we did see Tyranitar miss one of those Rock Slides against the Sylveon.
That's right. That was brutal to watch.
Right. It was unfortunate for Aaron because that could have sealed the deal for him in that game and allowed him to finish off the match. We also see Crunch at the second move, but one thing that we saw from Aaron was he wasn't running Crunch.
He was not running Crunch.
He was actually running Assurance, which is all the way down there.
Number 10, only 8.3%. Of course, these are stats taken from Battle Spot, the ladder, so it's a little bit different than national competitions, of course, but you'd be surprised at how many of these trainers that are here today, they actually take the time and they practice their teams on the Battle Spot with their games. So 8.3% of Tyranitar's opponent, Aaron Zhang here, and running Assurance. Assurance is a really, really cool move. So unique, and it works really well on Aaron's team. We saw that he had that Mega Salamence as well, which we did not see in that set, mainly because I think he was a little afraid of that Scarf T-Tar on Angel's team. But Assurance is such a cool move.
Yeah, and one of the things that Tyranitar can do with Assurance is it is a fast Tyranitar. It was carrying the Choice Scarf. It was moving before a lot of Pokemon on the field. So if someone was able to set up a Trick Room against him, Aaron could easily just strike one Pokemon with one move with his other Pokemon and then have Assurance come in with Tyranitar and do more damage than, normal Crunch would. So it's a situational move. It still does a lot of damage, and we see that was his best option against that Aegislash that gave him a lot of trouble.
Absolutely. I think I know something. I don't know if I should talk about it, but we see the Mega Salamence on Aaron's team, and that's a very fast Mon. It's a very fast Mon. It might even be a tad faster than a Scarf T-Tar, so I think that the idea might be behind it, going for a move on something such as Aegislash, even if it goes for Hyper Voice. I'm not sure what type of Ments he's running, and then Assurance will get boosted and move right after the very fast Ments. So
right, and that's how Aaron will probably try to pick up knockouts,
Definitely.
That was probably his strategy, Hyper Voice, spread that damage, get some damage onto the field, and then Tyranitar comes in with that very powerful Assurance to pick up some knockouts here and there. And Tyranitar carrying Choice Scarf, it's, if we look at the held items right now, it's the most popular item.
It's the most popular item on Tyranitar. That is awesome. Right beneath it is Mega T-Tar, which you don't even see that often.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to the choice that players really have. I mean, Mega T-Tar is great. Mega Tyranitar is a good Pokemon because it gets really bulky, gets an attack boost, and in some cases you might lose your weather. You might lose the sand that you bring up originally with Tyranitar, and then when you Mega, it will activate the Sand Stream again.
Yep, whether it be a slow Politoed coming in or a Charizard Mega Evolving into Charizard Y, you'll Mega Evolve after because most Charizards are faster than your Tyranitar if it's holding a Tyranitarite. So you're going to get your Sand right back up. So it is situational, but definitely can be handy for a player in the right hands.
Right, and we saw the Choice Scarf Tyranitar outspeed a lot of threats. I mean, outsped that Charizard. We saw that Tyranitar on Angel's side outsped a Landorus and Ice Punched it and knocked it out instantly.
No same type attack bonus, but because Tyranitar's attack stat is so high and it's ×4 effective on that Landorus, it just completely knocked it out without any problems.
Yeah, and that was really one of the problems, like Scott earlier mentioned. The problem with running the incarnate form of Landorus instead of the Therian form of Landorus is that it didn't get that Intimidate.
Yes. Now, it's definitely situational, in a meta where we haven't seen it much in this tournament, which is interesting. We haven't seen many, I'm just missing them, maybe, but I haven't seen many Bisharps, and I haven't seen many Milotics. Like, they're both, I haven't seen them around, and normally I would think, oh, you don't want to run the Intimidate. Maybe it's smart to go with the other form of Landorus because you don't want the Intimidate because you're not trying to activate any abilities to give your opponent the upper hand. But in this case, I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah, and Aaron, he did pick the Incarnate form. Incarnate with Tyranitar gets that Sand Force boost, right?
Yep.
So that was a smart play by Aaron. And Landorus Incarnate is also actually faster than the Therian form.
Yep.
It has a little bit more speed than that Therian form and can outspeed it and knock it out with a Ice-type power if it really chose to.
Yeah, no, it's definitely awesome to see. We always say how weather is so pronounced. It's such a powerful tool, and then to use the Sand Force with T-Tar, just another way to go ahead and take advantage of team building. It's so cool. There's so many different teams you can build. It's not limited to just weather or limited to. We've seen so many awesome things throughout this tournament. It's just awesome. This game has changed and evolved so much, no pun intended. It's just becoming something so strategic and so...
Gardevoir, most likely the Mega right there. It's the only Pokemon that can Mega on Toller's side, and Gardevoir is one of those Pokemon that's really good. It has versatility. It can set up Trick Room, and at the same time, it can also hit really hard with Pixelate Hyper Voice if it is the Mega.
Yeah, if it is the Mega, that Hyper Voice does not play any games, of course. Hayden does have that Heatran over there, which does resist that Hyper Voice insanely, but Conkeldur's not going to appreciate it whatsoever, no matter what it's holding. If it is holding the Assault Vest, it's not going to matter, but I'm not really sure what that item is that Conkeldur is holding.
Right, and neither is that Salamence, too, but the thing with Salamence is that it's going to outspeed that Gardevoir and be able to pick up possibly a knockout, depending on how these Pokemon are trained. I mean, Salamence with that Air Raid ability will be able to hit like a truck. I mean, that Gardevoir will not be taking any double edges or returns very well. It could be a special Mence. We're not exactly sure yet. Special Salamence, that's kind of growing up in popularity too. We do see the Politoed from Toller's side, and Politoed is going to bring the rain, which is going to kind of put a damper on that Heatran. Heatran likes to be outside of the rain to be able to throw out those same type attack, boosted fire type attacks. That's going to come in handy for all the Steel types. We see the Amoonguss, and we see the Amoonguss and the Aegislash on Toller's side, but at the same time, Wash Rotom on Hayden's side is also going to give that Politoed problems. Yeah,
we've established, especially you and I, we've established that certain Pokemon love the rain. They love to swim in it, they love to dance in it, something or other, but I don't think Heatran is one of those Pokemon. We're going to see both of our players lead. We see Aegislash and Politoed out for Toller, and then we see the Rotom Wash and the Cresselia out for Hayden.
Yeah, and we do see Toller go straight for the rain, and that's going to be good because that's going to reduce that Aegislash's weakness to fire type attacks. But Hayden right there kind of reading into that Politoed rain mode that Toller's going and leading straight up with that Rotom. Cresselia is one of those Pokemon that's always been popular. Yep. But I don't know, its usage has kind of dropped because you have Aegislash, which is staring down on the other side, and it's going to be hitting really hard with the Shadow Ball. And I mean, it's still Cresselia will survive a Shadow Ball, but it will not be able to survive 2 Shadow Balls. And Cresselia can also set up Trick Room. Not exactly sure if Hayden really wants it right now because Aegislash is going to be slower, and that's going to be problematic for it.
That would be even worse. He'd have to take back-to-back Shadow Balls essentially, or be forced to switch in that case. We're going to see actually the Rotom Wash take advantage of the rain, firing off a Hydro Pump, connecting on the Aegislash. Even in shield form, that's going to do over 50%. And Cresselia is supporting its partner, setting up the light screen, reducing all that special offense that's going to come from the other side. Politoed is going to go for that Scald, but with the light screen, that's only going to do just a bit. And Aegislash is going to go for a substitute, which of course is terrifying.
And that is a very clutch light screen right there from that Cresselia. A move that we don't see too often, but every once in a while it pops up, and it can be really annoying to give your team that special defense boost. A lot of players, they train their Pokemon to be able to pick up knockouts here and there, but light screen just completely disrupts that.
Definitely. When you train your team and you build it to knock out certain Pokemon, and then all of a sudden the Pokemon has the ability to stop those knockouts that you're depending on so much to win a game, it's super disruptive.
Yeah, and we do see the substitute from Aegislash. Hiding behind a substitute is going to be good, but the amount of damage it's going to be doing to that Cresselia is not going to be as much as it wants to. I mean, behind that light screen, I'd say that Aegislash has to go for 3 Shadow Balls right now to be able to pick up that knockout on Cresselia.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Like you said before, Cresselia is one of those Pokemon that, although it's dropped in popularity, it's one of those Pokemon that's reliable. When you bring it and it'll do what it has to do. It'll survive. It has access to recovery. It has access to support moves. It has access to helping hand. One of my favorite moves to see in VGC. I just love the image of a handless Pokemon clapping. It's fantastic. We're going to see the Aegislash go for the King's Shield behind that substitute, just kind of making sure that it's not going to get taken down. The Hydro Pump does get blocked by that King's Shield, and a Psychic from Cresselia is going to go into the Politoed. We're going to see it do around 35-40%, around 35%, and another Scald is going to get fired off into Cresselia. Are we going to see a burn on the second Scald? We are going to see a burn on the second Scald. That is residual damage.
That is going to be huge to be able to chip away that Cresselia. I mean, one of the things with Cresselia is that, if it's a support Cresselia, it might not be doing too much on the offensive end, but it's still there. It's still out there on the field supporting its team, either going for your favorite move, helping hand, setting up light screens once the light screens fade away. But we see exactly how much how much Toller really wants to get that burn on Cresselia to slowly chip away at it. Right now in the rain, Cresselia does have access to Moonlight, but in the rain, Moonlight might not be, it won't be healing too much. I mean, if Cresselia even has Moonlight in the first place. Interesting thing to note that Rotom is still Hydro Pumping that Aegislash slot. We see the training, the Rotom doesn't have as much HP as a normal bulkier Rotom, so I would expect this Rotom to be a bit more on the offensive side, possibly choice item, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, we haven't been able to see, I don't know, judging by the damage it did before to the Aegis Slash, I don't know if it would be choice specs. We're going to see the Politoed just go for the Protect, kind of just blocking itself. Hydro Pump is going to connect once again. That is the third Hydro Pump used. It's going to definitely take out that substitute, judging by the damage it did prior. And we're going to see what Cresselia wants to do here. Going to go for a Psychic into the Politoed, not going to do anything thanks to that Protect. And Aegis Slash is going to go for a stance change. Is it going to fire off a Shadow Ball onto that Cresselia? It is going to fire off a Shadow Ball, but on who? It is going to be the Cresselia. We'll see how much that does. Even with the Light Screen, that does massive damage, but we're going to see the Citrus Berry here. So all of you guys that were thinking maybe had the Light Clay to make those screens last even longer, it was not. It's the Citrus.
Yeah, and we see that Citrus Berry activate. Cresselia going to heal back. Like I said, that Light Screen is really problematic right now because if that Light Screen wasn't up, that would have been a knockout for that Aegis Slash and one Pokemon down on Hayden's side. Looking right now, Politoed's trying to stay on the field as long as possible. I feel like Tolber wants to protect that Politoed, wants to be able to reset the rain just in case he needs it later on. Even though he doesn't have anything that can really abuse it, he doesn't have the Swift Swim Ludicolo that we see in tandem with Politoed so often. Rain is still good for him because, it's going to boost Politoed's same type attack bonus boosted water type attacks, right? It's going to reduce Aegis Slash's weaknesses. If Mungus is out in the rain too, that's going to be problematic too. And right now, that Wash Rotom is still out on the field, and Wash Rotom does not enjoy facing off against Mungus at all.
Absolutely. We're going to see that Hydro Pump connect for the third time this game, fourth time it's been used. Onto the Politoed, not doing too much because it's resisted. A Psychic, though, is going to follow suit onto that Politoed slot. Is it going to pick up the KO? Just barely misses it. And a Scald is going to come through from the Politoed onto the Wash Rotom, doing almost 50% to that. It's a crit, that's why. And we don't see a burn on that Skull, though, and a Shadow Ball here onto the Rotom, doubling up, trying to knock it out. Not going to pick up that knockout, but we do see a special D-drop at this point, though. Rotom's so low that it's a little irrelevant.
Right, and we do see Rotom go for the
light screen, man.
Yeah, the light screen, right? That light screen is still around. We do see Rotom go for that Hydro Pump into the Politoed. That's going to confirm that it's probably choice or expecting a switch right there. Otherwise, why not just Thunderbolt that slot, right? Otherwise, I would pick up the knockout. We do see that Aegis Slash did not King Shield. I believe that's why Hayden decided to double up into that Politoed slot. He was expecting the King Shield. Didn't want to waste any attacks here, and just went straight for the Politoed. Politoed did protect in the last turn too, so Politoed, its chance of protecting this turn weren't as high of succeeding.
Definitely. It was discussed yesterday when Aegis Slash is on the field, there's just so many mind games that happen. Is he going to King Shield? Is he not going to King Shield? Do I really want to waste my attacks? Especially when you only have so many Hydro Pumps, trying to take advantage of the rain and firing them off and connecting with as many as possible. Even if it is on a Politoed, it's still a really strong attack. In fact, we're going to see that Politoed switch out right now into the Gardevoir. So Gardevoir hard switching in, potentially taking a Hydro Pump here, which would be really, really bad for the Gardevoir. Stance change is going to come through, and Aegis Slash is going to put its guard up, making sure it's not going to take any damage this turn. It's going to be really interesting to see if this the Rotom stayed in, and we pretty much confirmed that it is choice. So the Hydro Pump is going to miss. Oh, it's going to be protected from the Aegis Slash, and the Psychic is going to come through on that Gardevoir, not doing too much damage because it is resisted.
That was a really safe switch right there from Tolber's side. And like I said, he is preserving the rain because the rain did stop just recently. So he's going to want that Politoed to be able to come back in, reset the rain, and have 5 more turns of it. So good switch right there. Perfect switch right there from Tolber because he took the Psychic really well. He protected with that Aegis Slash, minimized the amount of damage that he was going to take that turn. And he still has that Politoed around in the back to reset the rain if he really wants to.
Absolutely. Had the Hydro Pump gone into the other slot, it would have been very, very bad. But fortunately, Tolber made the right call on that and making the perfect switch at that moment. We're going to see Cresselia is not going to be able to live another turn of burn if it doesn't pack the Moonlight and go for it now. Something I want to note, the light screen is gone, so Mega Gardevoir's Hyper Voice is going to... I mean, both these Pokemon, they have a combined amount of 15 HP, so I think the Gardevoir could sneeze instead of going for Hyper Voice, and it would knock out these two Pokemon. But we're going to see that Mega Evolution regardless in that beautiful, beautiful black dress that it likes to sport. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, dude. I'm just in love with this game. We're going to see Crest go for the Helping Hand with the Choice Rotom, which I think at this point we know that it's Choice Scarf because it wasn't doing too much damage. But a Hydro Pump is going to connect on that Aegis Slash because of the Helping Hand. It looks like it's going to pick up that knockout. That's definitely unfortunate for Tolber, but that's what you get when you clap with your... I don't know where Cresselia's hands are, but both these Pokemon, we're going to get a double knockout on Hayden's side of the field. So not a terrible turn for Tolber being able to pick up 2 KOs.
Yeah, and... without that Helping Hand from that Cresselia, that Rotom would not have picked up that knockout on that Aegis Slash at all. It's no longer in the rain, it's no longer boosted by that rain, but that Helping Hand, pretty much substituted for that rain boost that, it gets in the rain.
Absolutely, just it doubled the attack the same way that the rain would have. So we're going to see the Aegis Slash and the Heatran come out. So the Thunderous is going to come out on Tolber's side. Had he brought in that Politoed, it would have been really nice because now that Heatran's on the field, it's like doesn't like the rain.
Yeah, and these are two Pokemon that Gardevoir does not enjoy facing off against. I mean, Aegislash is going to resist the Hyper Voice. Heatran's also going to resist the Hyper Voice too. And, Aegislash can hit back at Gardevoir with, Flash Cannon or Shadow Ball, whatever it wants to really do. In this case, since Thundurus and Politoed are still around, I would not be surprised to see Hayden continue to just click Shadow Ball. There's no point in Flash Canning right now because, that's going to be resisted by Thundurus and Politoed. While it's going to hit Gardevoir super effectively still.
Yeah, there's no reason to risk a switch-in of a resisted move at that point when you know you can hit everything for either neutral damage or get that super effective damage that you're wanting to get.
Yeah, and Heatran, it quadruple resists that Hyper Voice, so Thundurus right now going to have to do some work here to, kind of put that Politoed in position to be able to pick up some knockouts.
Definitely. We're going to see the Gardevoir go for the Protect here, not wanting to take any super effective damage because Hayden has all of that. Thundurus is going to go for the taunt on the Aegislash, preventing it from doing anything but attacking. We're going to see a Heat Wave come through from the Heatran over here. It's going to connect on the Thundurus. Going to do a good amount of damage, 40-45% just about. Aegislash is going to stance change, and let's see who Aegislash is going to target down. It is going to Shadow Ball the Thundurus slot. That is huge. I'm pretty sure that's just barely going to miss picking up the knockout. We're going to see Thundurus pop that Citrus.
That is such a good read right there from Hayden. I mean, to kind of analyze the situation and be like, Gardevoir is not going to want to do anything right here. It's probably going to Protect and double, or, it's tempting, right, to go for the Shadow Ball into that Gardevoir spot to knock out the Mega, but we see Hayden not fall for that and instead target down that Thundurus instead. And, now that Aegislash is taunted, that kind of puts Tolber in a bit better position because you lock it into that Blade form, right?
Yep.
And if it's in Blade form, its defense is going to be super frail, and it's going to be locked into attacking, and Politoed can come in, pick up a knockout with the Skull. Thundurus can also do a lot of damage to it with Thunderbolt from itself too.
Yeah.
Gardevoir, Hyper Voice will do a lot more damage than it would be in Shield form too. So good taunt right there. I really like that taunt from Tolber.
Yeah, and we're going to see the Shadow Sneak from Aegislash, one of my favorite moves to see from the Aegislash. It's going to do a lot to that Gardevoir, bringing it down to around 40%. Thundurus, though, is going to fire back with a Thunderbolt. Not going to be able to pick up a knockout, leave it at 70 HP, but Gardevoir is going to go for a Psychic, doubling up into that Aegislash. It is resisted, and it's just barely going to miss that knockout. Oh, Heat Wave is going to come out from Hayden's Heatran, and it looks like it's just barely going to miss the Gardevoir KO, but it's going to pick up the knockout on Thundurus.
Yeah, and Hayden's in good position right now. That Politoed is heavily weakened. This Gardevoir is also heavily weakened too. Hayden has revealed the Shadow Sneak, which is going to be huge to, just slowly chip away at these Pokemon. I mean, pick up a knockout here this turn and pick up a knockout the next turn.
That's one of the only Aegislash that we've seen that don't mind being taunted too much because, you know what, it's just going to fire some really powerful Shadow Sneaks when it has to.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to just see a Shadow Sneak into the Politoed slot here. Politoed is a bigger threat than that Gardevoir is. Gardevoir we've seen Psychic, we've seen Hyper Voice. Heatran does not mind taking those moves at all. Nope. So would not be surprised to see a Shadow Sneak into the Politoed slot possibly. But, yeah, there you see it.
We see the Shadow Sneak right into the Politoed, and it's going to pick up the KO. Obviously, Aegislash with a sky-high attack, and getting the same type attack bonus from the Shadow Sneak is always nice. A Hyper Voice is going to come through from the Gardevoir. It's going to pick up the knockout on Aegislash, but Heatran's going to be able to fire back with whatever it feels like firing back with. I think Hayden's just in a really good position here. We're going to see Heat Wave in the rain, but it's going to pick up the knockout, and that's going to be the first game in Hayden's favor.
Yeah, an interesting thing to note here, Hayden did not bring a Mega.
Hayden did not bring a Mega, and I wanted to say that it stinks because, well, I should say it stinks for Tolber because, you build your team. Mega Pokemon is usually pretty important. It's one of your more powerful Pokemon, but then Mega Gardevoir is such a hard time in that matchup against the Aegislash, against the Heatran. It's just such a tough time.